Joyfully Empowered is about feeling uplifted, inspired, and connected to your intuition. This is the place where dreams are possible, cups are half full, and community is solid. Topics include spirituality, leadership, feminine wealth, intuition, manifestation, and our sacred work. This is where bold self starters come to refill their je ne sais quoi to continue spreading a little magic to the world. I am Stephanie Verchot, a spicy Latina, mom, and relentless about supporting people achieving their dreams, following their intuition while igniting their feminine wealth. Welcome to Joyfully Empowered, my friends. Today's episode is a good one. It was inspired from a post I did this past week on Instagram, a reel on being overworked and costing you and people, a lot of people that I work with, their well-being. So I was talking to a client last week and she had mentioned how something in my eye, in case you're not looking at the video, she was working, 16, 17, 18-hour work days. And we were like, oh my gosh, that's a completely unsustainable, not fun, and not necessary. She was not working 17-hour days because she was behind and did not know how to do her job. It was because she was over functioning, right? And she was really overextending herself. So I want to share today on how to shift from overwork to overflow, right? How I started making shifts in my life that truly changed everything for me, because I was also the one that was working 16, 17, 18-hour days. Like I remember when I came from corporate, if we would stay, I think it was like past 6 or 7 p.m. And this was like, I don't know, 8 years ago, pre-pandemic and all of that, we could order, dinner and we'd get an Uber to go home. And there was like all these additional benefits, but not to the point that I was coming home most of the days, like after midnight and, or a good amount of time, like a good amount of days during the month, and still getting back to the office at like 7 in the morning. And you were made for more than burnout, right? So let's stop and shift the overwork and without losing the success, without losing the productivity, without losing, being efficient. So we are in this hustle culture that is telling us to the harder we work, the more successful we're going to be. And in it, it is costing us our joy, our creativity, our health. I have pictures and I am happy. I'll probably share them at some point where I remember I think this was 2016, where I had gone with my husband back then, my boyfriend. Yeah, we were not engaged then. We had gone on like a 2-week vacation to the Virgin Islands where my in-laws live. And right before that, I'd been working a ton. And we get to the Virgin Islands and we're there for like a couple days or whatever. And I started to break in the most horrible hives, like behind my legs, in my back. And at the beginning, I thought that it was like, I was like, maybe it's like some sun allergy, what's going on? I have no idea what's happening. Then I get back, they were coming like in and out. And I remember talking to one of my cousins who is a doctor. And he's like, those are like 100% stress related. Like my body was literally wanting to crawl out of this overwhelmed and overworked and completely burnout stage. I have not had a breakout in hives in like close to 10 years because of stress. So hives was a big thing for me when I was overworked. Think about in your health, right? Like what are things that are popping up? It could be like insomnia, breakouts, hives, irritation. Are you over caffeinating? I used to get like the really big venti cups from Starbucks just with black coffee. It was like Americanos. It was like 4 or 5 shots of coffee. And probably like twice a day. And I remember there's like this one vivid memory. I was taking an Uber to work and I was like every single Uber, because in that period of my life, I used to take so many Ubers everywhere. I used to fall asleep like all the time because my adrenals were completely overshot. Like, if, I mean, I always fallen asleep in cars ever since I was little. Nothing to do with my adrenals. I was just, I don't know, cars are very soothing. But this was like a very distinct feeling. Like I would just fall asleep anywhere you would put, if you would put me at, even if like if I wasn't trying to get something done, I'd just be sleeping. My adrenals were completely shot. So where is your stress and your overworked and your over functioning showing up in your day to day, in your relationships, in your body, in your health, in your spending habits, in your consumption? Are you drinking? I was drinking so much back then. And it was just like a combination. Thankfully, thank God I was still drinking a lot of water because otherwise it was just coffee and like wine and alcohol. So thank God my water habits have stuck with me for such a long time. So you could have like chronic fatigue, irritability, loss of like losing creativity, right? Like maybe your relationships are strained, you're not following up with people and being able to continue the connection. You feel guilt when you are resting. So, what are things that you can begin doing to really shift that overworked and overfunctioning to healthy, to creativity, to joy, to not being burned down, right? The first thing that I remember, oh my gosh, I remember this so clearly. It was after the first year that I had started my business. And I remember my first year in business, even though there were so many things, so many parallel things, but even though I wasn't financially in overflow, I had made less that year than I had made my whole entire life. I remember being so, so, so happy. But I also remember that I felt very like underachieving. Like I was like, what am I doing? None of this is working out. Because back then, my definition of success was very tied to the money that I was making and the title that I had, because that's all I had known. So I remember thinking to myself, like, I need to redefine success because as a business owner, yes, you can make very little, but you also don't have a cap and you can make a lot. So I was like, I don't want my success to be tied to a number because I literally don't have a ceiling, like a cap when it comes to money. Also, my title is completely BS because I can change my title every day as a business owner, right? I can be like the queen of the world. I can be CEO. I can be founder. I can be coach. I can be, head of the department. I can be general manager. I can be CMO. I can be what chief, whatever I want it to be. Like it does not matter. It's not like when your core is like director of marketing, head of marketing, manager. What it's like, no, when you're your own business, like when you have your own business, you can have whatever title. And I remember thinking to myself, like, if my success is tied to these two very flimsy, fluffy things, I'm never going to feel accomplished. So my new definition of success was joy, was alignment, was intuition, was fun. Like I remember thinking to myself, I am successful when I'm having fun. I am successful when I feel like accomplished within myself. I am successful when I'm doing things that bring me joy. Thank God that happened after the first year of having my business, because then I was able to create a life where I was hitting the markers on success, which was joy and playfulness and excitement and fun versus money and a title. Right. And soon after that, the money started becoming. And I mean, yes, my title as a business owner has shifted over the years. Like I've called myself entrepreneur, coach, founder, CEO, you know, a certified coach, executive coach, life coach, energy coach, whatever. That has always shifted. But I don't equate myself achieving that because my title or the money that I'm making. So success isn't about doing more when you are redefining, but it's about creating impact, which is directly correlated to the second thing I want you to think about is also redefining productivity, right? It's like asking yourself, am I doing the right things or am I just doing more things? Right? Do I feel the need? And I'm still a little bit of like, I haven't totally broken free from this. As I hear myself say that, though, that's not necessarily true because after giving birth to Dylan Joy, my productivity based on the million things that I was doing a day definitely shifted. Like I'm no longer working 14-hour days, that I'm probably working 20 hours in 1 week, maybe 25 hours, right? So when you're thinking about your productivity, am I doing the right things that are moving the needle? You know, or am I just doing more things because I feel like I need to have a day filled with things, right? Beginning to really look at and reestablish and redefine what are the things that I'm doing and are they moving the needle? Okay. So, again, because success isn't about doing more, but it's about creating impact or more impact with less, excuse me, with less hours in the day. I can attest in my business as of today, in 2024, I double the revenue of my business and I worked a third of what I did in any other previous year in my career. Like the money and the wealth and the financial abundance goes up while the effort, well, not the effort, it's not true. The effort has stayed the same, but the amount of hours is less, like what I'm putting towards, because when I'm working, I am very intentional about what I'm doing, right? The third thing is creating like white space, neutral space in your calendar, right? Where I literally block my calendar with like creativity or reading or just like staring at the window. We are so addicted to our phones and consumption and dopamine hits that when nothing is hitting our brains as like quote unquote fun or exciting, we're so bored. There's nothing going on. It's like, no, just allow yourself to be in nature, to pick flowers, to go to the farmer's market. Like I've been more diligent about it. I come home and I mean, for now, it's like phone has to be at a side, but maybe in the future it'll be inside and I don't have to touch it. But if I have it close to me, I feel like I have to open it in and see. And I don't want to do that when I'm around Dylan Joy. I don't want her to see me on my phone all the time. So I come home, I put it away on my nightstand, and I forget about it for a couple of hours, right? So blocking empty time, neutral time intentionally, because that's when the creativities come through. That's when ideas happen. I had a client that I was talking to her the other day, and she's like, I had a packed day and I had so many things going on. But in the middle of the day, I had this like need to go clean my car. So she's like, initially I felt a little bit guilty because I had so much work to do, but then I was like, oh, my car is a mess. I have to clean it. She went, cleaned her car, whatever. It took her half an hour. And during that time that she was cleaning her car, listening to music, she came back and was like 3 times more productive because she gave herself that space to use her hands to do something that wasn't just in front of the computer. And in that time, she was able to like problem solve in her head. She came back to work so much more efficient, right? So clean your closet, clean your kitchen, like clean your car, clean your bathroom, like do something that's out of the norm, that even though in the moment it might seem like procrastination, it isn't. It's just time for time for your brain to get a little bit of a break. And the last thing, the fourth thing, the last thing that I want to talk about is reshifting. It's all about like redefining, recreating, reshifting your definition of self-worth. Because so many of us, our value and our self-worth, it's attached to productivity. If I work a lot, if I show up, if I'm constantly doing something, then I feel really good. And I feel like I'm worthy of then resting because I worked really hard, or I can take a break because I am burnt out. Absolutely not. Right? When you begin to build rest days, into your weeks, into your months, you begin to realize that your self worth is not attached to how much you are producing. You are worthy, you are loved, you are valued because you are. Period, point blank, end of the story. My worth is not earned. Like my worth is my birthright. Like that could be a great affirmation. My worth is not earned. My worth is my birthright, right? So as I'm wrapping up this very hopefully, like, well, not hopefully, it's a very quick short episode, but hopefully value packed with ideas on how to shift from overwhelmed, overworked, overfunctioned to being in flow, right? Being able to build success based on your value and who you are, including rest. The last step that I'm going to say, that maybe this is something that could work for you too. I am very structured with my calendar, right? Like I even block call the bank, or do my budget. Like I'm not just blocking my calendar and saying like do work, because that means nothing when I actually have to sit down and do work. Like I'm like record podcast, send an email, update this presentation. And then I also, because my calendar is away, like I'm like, okay, take a class with Dylan Joy, or go to the park, go to swim school or swim lessons or whatever it might be, because that allows me to know like I have plenty of rest time during the week. And when I'm at the office or I'm coaching and I'm working 10 hours straight, then I'm fully present, right? So figure out if for you is it your calendar? Is it like a journal that you have? Is it meetings? Like I was talking to another client the other day, and she's an executive, and she has a lot of people reporting her. She has like 10 people reporting into her. So I was telling her, you get to create your calendar. So when you're having one-on-one meetings with your team, think about it. Do they work better for you in the morning? Do they work better for you in the afternoon? Do you want to have them back to back? So every Monday you are in one-on-ones with your team from like 9 to 1, or do you want to do a little bit of Monday, a little bit of Tuesday? Like what works for you? Like how do you batching content? So as you are growing in levels as an executive, look at your calendar, right? She also has days that she has to visit a lot of her clients. So I'm like, okay, you also get to schedule that. Do you want to schedule them every Wednesday where you're out in the field visiting your clients, or do you want to do it the last Friday of the month? People tend to be really responsive and respectful when we say, hey, here's when I can meet. I'm not saying 10 out of 10 times, but like, for instance, right now, I am only seeing clients 95% of the time on Monday and Wednesdays, because those are the days that my daughter is in daycare, and it's just the way my calendar is now. Every once in a while, a client will be like, Steph, can you do Thursday afternoon? And then usually I schedule it when she's napping, sure. But I've never, ever ran into a problem where people are like, absolutely not, this will not work. It's like, sure, this is it. So if you are the one that are leading the calendar for people, like, yes, every once in a while, and also depends where you are, if you work in corporate in the ranks. But people that are listening to this, I know most of you are executive level. If not, you have your own business. So you have a higher freedom within your calendar to be like, this is when I can meet, right? So trust yourself that you can arrange your calendar in a way that works for you and your life, and that your balance that you're trying to set. So you deserve to thrive, like, not just survive. We're not just surviving here. We get to thrive, right? Success isn't built on burned out. Success is built on the value and you feeling alive and healthy. And that's truly where wealth, when I talk about wealth, it's not just financial wealth. Wealth comes from creating a life that works for you and what you're trying to do, right? So allow yourself to thrive, allow yourself to create boundaries, allow yourself not to feel like you have to produce 18-hour days in order to be value of rest. So homework for you as we're wrapping this up, take a look at your calendar, schedule your mental health day, your vacation. Take next Friday or next Monday off, go to the spa, get your nails done, sleep in, get a book, and allow yourself to rest. Because in those moments of rest is when we really recharge, is when the ideas come through, and it's when we're able to show up for our family, for our work, for ourselves, more empowered and thriving than ever before. I hope that you loved this episode. Share it with a friend, share it with a family, share it with a coworker, and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. That would mean so much to you. And until next time, my friends, take care, have fun, be joyful, spread your magic, and I will see you so soon.